Fantastic. Joe, you have, like we indicated when we started, you are so many things. And one thing that you are perfecting is becoming an author. You have written 7 books, and I'm embarrassed to say I've only read one, Personal Crucibles, which is absolutely an amazing book. Um,
Yeah.
you have written 7 books. Can you just briefly go through the 7, and if you could, if you've got them there, share with us what they look
Yes,
like, and yeah, let's walk through
Trevor,
them.
my first book was this one. I don't know if you can see it,
Yeah, we can see
Personal
it. Yeah,
Crucibles.
yeah.
This, in summary, it says that leadership, I developed leadership through struggles. Struggling in Wawa, meeting challenges as the CEO at Delta through all those years. And those struggles, those crucibles defined who I am today. And that this book is about that.
I've read that book and I found it thoroughly inspirational. Your journey and your crucibles inspired me quite a lot, Joe. So it's a book that I recommend to those people that love books. The second book?
The second book, Trevor, is about awareness. It's called The Arc of Awareness. I find that very often leaders are challenged because they are not aware. They're not aware of what the challenges of leadership are. They're not aware of what's happening globally. They sometimes focus too much on the inside, inward looking, instead of broadening themselves. So in this book, I'm challenging leaders to become more aware.
Right.
Okay, and that's really from the inside out and learning about themselves, about the environment and so forth. So that arc of awareness.
And the third book?
The third book is really a distillation of my thesis at Oxford.
Wow.
For my master's degree. When I did my thesis, it was really based on a Zimbabwe case study. And when I came back, I said, wow, why don't I write a book? It was a study of 4 Zimbabwean leaders, CEOs in one company. And I looked at their contribution to the company from 1979 through to 2014.
2014.
And this company is about Dairy Board. It's about Eddie Cross. It's about Kumbirai Katsande. It's about Anthony Mandiwanza. It's about the leaders that led Dairy Board and how each one of them made a contribution to the transformation of Dairy Board. So it's a case study really in leadership transformation or transformational leaders in the country.
The fourth one?
The fourth one is called the Savannah Protocols. And this book is about, I at some point I felt sometimes we don't excavate the richness of our own heritage in Africa. And I went to look at the metaphors that are embedded in African culture. And I found 19 metaphors. And I translated these into leadership lessons for the foreign investor.
Wow.
That as the foreign investor comes into this part of the world, into Africa, they should know that there are certain metaphors that can guide them as they make investments. Metaphors like lions follow buffalo heads. The crocodiles of the Rift Valley are present at the crossing. Leopard never change their spots. Things like that. So there are 19 African metaphors that help leaders from outside Africa to understand investing in Africa. So that's the purpose of that book.
The next one, the fifth one?
The next one is a very small book, Trevor. It's to do with my career. You mentioned earlier on that I went through many different jobs, and I called it No Ordinary Path. And almost like kind of, when I look at the title now, I worry a little bit. I call it a corporate warrior's journey from specialization to generalist. And I went through, as you said, economist, management trainee, human resources person, marketing, production, general manager, managing director, CEO, very different kind of jobs. And I'm illustrating here that you can be very broad. And if you are broad, it helps you when you face tough situations because you have seen it in different aspects rather than in one narrow functional specialization.
And the sixth one?
So that was my fifth book. Then I also then wrote this book here, Trevor, Leading Without Command.
That's a big one, eh?
It came from my frustration sometimes that we are too control-oriented in Zimbabwe. It's part of our culture. It's part of the high-power distance culture in which we live. I'm trying to say the youngsters that we lead today and tomorrow don't like to be led in this way.
Mm.
You got to shed that command approach and really adopt new ways of leading youngsters, inspiring them, being inclusive, listening to them, giving them their role, also learning from them. And that is what I'm talking about here in Leading Without Command.
And the last one?
The last one is about leading for the future. And I'm talking here about, again, memories of the future, if you like. What should leaders do? I talk here, Trevor, about the kind of 3 time horizons, the past, the present, and the future. Okay. And I focus on what does it take to be able to lead for the future? What is our responsibility as leaders to future generations? What should we do? What should we be looking at? What kind of mindsets do we require? So there you are. Those are the 7 books I've written so far.
Beautiful. I know you're working on a book right now. Am I right? Are you writing something?
I'm working on 4 books currently.
Wow.
2 of them are going to be based on the COVID crisis. One of them is called The Dilemmas of Leadership in Crisis. I've talked a little bit about that today, but that's going to be a book standing on its own. I've finished writing a book on execution. I call this the 7 disciplines of superior execution. What is it that we always know, Trevor, there's a gap between planning and implementation of the results. And I'm trying to help leaders. What does it take to be able to execute so that you actually get the results that you've planned for? So there's disciplines of execution. I'm also writing a book on leadership pathologies, kind of diseases that afflict leaders, particularly the higher up the organizations they go. Ego inflation, entitlement, things like that, as a help to leaders so that they don't get carried too far. Then I'm writing a very interesting book called VUCA Organizations. I'm kind of turning VUCA, the one you mentioned at the beginning, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, and hostile. I'm turning it on its head to kind of vision-inspired, uncertainty, intolerant, customer solutions-oriented, agile, and humane organizations. So I'm pacifying VUCA and bringing in a new management model that allows leaders to lead effectively, even in the middle of a storm.